Joe Flacco signed with the Browns. Their starting quarterback, Robinson, got hurt. Is actually in concussion protocol. The Browns came out and said, if DTR is not going to start for the Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco has now surpassed PJ Walker. I know, Zach, it's upsetting, but Joe Flacco would be in line to start this Sunday against the LA Rams. Guys, fellas.
If there's anyone who would do it, like, I'm glad it's Joe Cool. Like, if anyone was going to take that away from PJ, I'm glad at least it's Joe.
What is your fascination with PJ? I love PJ Walker.
I love the whole like XFL, like the
storyline.
Yeah. I think he's a
dog.
Yeah, he's a decent
dog.
But he just statistically, and I'm not just basing.
Okay, well, I'm also a Ravens fan. I don't want the Browns to win all the time. I just want keep their head above water.
Fair.
Yeah. Like, I don't want him to play like
I love
an
PJ
MVP.
Walker. Temple U. I want him to succeed.
What's his name?
If Joe Flacco was on any other divisions, he probably would have had three or four rings, right? He played with Troy Polamalu, and then you had the Lee Evans drop. Let's not talk about Billy Cundiff, but there's potential. Like,
the AFC North is
reason we call him January Joe.
Oh yeah, get him to January.
He hasn't been on a winning team since the Ravens, and now he's got a shot to get himself back into the playoffs. And as much as I'd hate to say it, I mean,
January Joe.
There's a lot of things about Joe that's changed over the last 5 years, but he's still January Joe.
Well, and I think people forget last year. This was last year. He started against the Ravens on opening weekend.
Didn't have a bad game that day.
No, he didn't. The Ravens defense, they really shut them down. And he actually had a comeback win. That was the one where Nick Chubb didn't go down.
Yep.
And then the Jets got the ball, scored, got the onside kick, and scored again. And Joe, I think had 4 tutties.
Don't let Flacco get hot.
Don't let Flacco get hot.
Don't let Flacco get hot. Easy as that.
Well, but it's exciting. I know for Ravens fans, you don't want to see it would actually kind of hurt to see Joe Flacco go up to Cleveland and have all that success. But I'm rooting for him. I want to see Joe ball out, just not against Baltimore. Do it against everybody else. Let the Ravens win the division. But it's cool to see what he has left in the tank, especially since he was contemplating maybe hanging it up, but he wanted to wait just a little bit longer if he'd have one more opportunity. Well, here it is. This is probably his best opportunity he's had in the last 4 or 5 years since he left Baltimore, Brad, like you said.
It's a perfect team for him to be on if you're Joe Flacco, right? You got a staple tight end in Njoku. You got some decent weapons around you, Cooper. I think there is some legitimacy here. If they get the run game going, Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford start doing their thing. I mean, Joe Flacco just seems a perfect plug and play guy if he still has what we all think he has.
Imagine, Brad, if they still had Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my!
That would be even better for him.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but imagine that as well.
Insane.
I hope he succeeds. I know you guys are like not against the Ravens, but it would be a cool story. And to do it, it's just like one of those things like seeing Ed Reed in like a Texans uniform.
Yeah, Texans and
like
Jets.
The Jets.
Yeah,
it's just weird to see
Joe
Flacco put on that Browns uniform. It's just like one of those tweets like you throw out the like name a random baseball player.
Yeah.
Like years from now, it's going to be a player that just spent his career with one team, but looks weird in a. I know Joe Flacco went Eagles, Broncos, Jets, and now Browns.
Yeah.
But
he's low key becoming a great immaculate.
He is a Raven. People, I feel like, still view him as. Do you? You view him as a Raven? Yeah, he's a Raven. Exactly. So no, because
Rings don't lie.
You give me a look every time I say something. So I get confused.
We know you get confused, Rock. Hey, but actually, Brad, do we have that as a poll? Does everyone think that Joe Flacco can lead the Browns to a playoff victory?